Okay, yesterday, I don't know what happened. My brain wasn't working yesterday. When you make the tzitzis, we said you make 7, 8, 11, 13. Right? How many wraparounds? So the custom is to make 7, 8, 11, 13. What's the cheshbon 7, 8, 11, 13? Okay, 7 and 8 and 11 and 13 equals 39. Hashem Echad, Hashem Yud Kei Vav Kei is 26. Echad is 13. So 26 and 13 is 39. So when you make the wraparounds, because really, halachically, you don't need that many wraparounds. You know what was called the chulias. But the bottom line is that you do it because then you have, in each corner, you have Hashem Echad. Okay, now what happens if somebody is wearing a talis and they're in children, they're wearing a talis, they need to go to the washroom. So obviously we learned already before, not that halachically you're not allowed to, tefillin you're not allowed to wear in the bathroom. Talis is a blanket, so technically you would be allowed to wear a talis in the bathroom, just like you wear your tzitzis in the bathroom. The difference is, because it's a beged, a garment designated for davening, so it's not respectful to take it into the bathroom. But technically you would be allowed to wear a talis in the bathroom. Therefore, if somebody takes off the talis in the middle of davening, uses the facilities, and comes back and puts on the talis, they don't have to make a bracha. If it's tefillin, then you're davening with tefillin, you have to go to the bathroom, you take off your tefillin, then the halacha is you do need to make a new bracha. Why? Because where you were, you're not allowed to wear tefillin. So that broke the first bracha of the tefillin. So now you come back, you have to make another bracha on the tefillin. But a talis, you don't need to make a bracha. Unless if somebody took it off for a few hours. I'll give you an example, where it's very practical. Erev Yom Kippur, you daven in the morning with your talis, and then before Kol Nidre, you put on your talis again. So even though you wore it that morning, but because many hours went by, 2 or 3, whatever it is, so then you have to make a new brach on the talis. If somebody, now there's another interesting thing that could happen. What happens, you're wearing your talis, okay, and it falls off you. Now, it's like, is that like taking off your talis with the intention of not putting it back, that you would have to make a bracha? So there's a whole discussion in halacha. Many poskim hold, and that's the way we hold, I believe, that if you're wearing a talis cotton, still you're wearing the garment underneath your shirt, and the tzitzis fall off, so you don't make a new bracha on the talis, because you're still wearing tzitzis by wearing the talis cotton. But what happens if somebody's not wearing a talis cotton, for whatever reason, and the talis falls off, they don't realize, and the talis just falls off them? Halachically, when they put it back on, they need to make a new bracha.
You don't have in your mind, Rabbi, that you
don't
have your mind.
No, as long as you're holding a little bit, but if the whole thing falls off, then you have to make a new bracha.
You don't have in your mind with intention.
I understand, but because you didn't intend to take off the talis,
right.
It's so therefore you have to make a. You have to make if the whole talis falls off the body, you have to make a new bracha. What?
Yeah, going back for a minute, can a woman make tzitzits or tie the knot if something happens on the tzitzits?
We learned yesterday that they shouldn't, according to many opinions, they shouldn't be doing it because they're not obligated in it. Just to fix a knot is not a big deal because it's kosher without it anyway. So, but to actually... What? I don't hear you.
As professional.
Professional, they can make the garments. They can't make tzitzis. No, they shouldn't make the whole tzitzis.
I still don't understand something. If a person goes to use the facilities and he takes off the talis...
Then he knows he's taking it off and he knows he's putting it back on.
So then that doesn't require...
Correct. But if it falls off, so that means your mind was removed from it and the talis fell off your body. So you'd have to make a new bracha.
Unless you have your talis cut.
Unless if you have your talis cut, and then a lot of poskim say you don't have to make a new bracha. Next. What?
Kids making a tzitzit. If you told him to in the mikveh, you watch over him. Tzitzis, you watch over him. It's not the same.
What was the question?
Shh. Stop. The question was, why is if a child shouldn't immerse kalim in the mikveh. But what happens if there's an adult standing over the child? Then he could tevel the dishes in the mikveh. Why is it different than tzitzis? That if it's a kid, even if somebody's standing over him, it's not true. So the truth is, there is an opinion, we don't paskin like that, there is an opinion that says you could, but the halacha is he can't. And the reason for that is, what?
What was the last thing you said?
If an adult is standing over the kid, can the kid put in tzitzis? Okay? So the problem is with that, by teveling kalim in the mikveh, you don't need intent, you don't need kavanah. If a dish falls into the mikveh by itself, it's kosher. It's kosher. Right? If you immerse that kalim in a mikveh by itself, it's immersed. It's good. Tzitzis, you have to make the tzitzis. Why isn't the kid, halachically, you send your 10-year-old kid, okay, go to the mikveh and tevel these dishes. Immerse these dishes in the mikveh. The problem with that is the kid is not believed to say he did it because he's a kid. He's not a kosher witness. He's not believed to say that he did it because he has no naman. So therefore, if an adult is standing over him and he sees the way the kid immerses the dishes in the mikveh, it's good. Here you need actually that the kid should be making it, and the making of the tzitzis has to come from somebody who's really obligated in the mitzvah themselves.
So you can't send a woman to do
How come a
it.
woman can do it?
Huh?
You can't send a woman to throw the dishes?
Yeah, women's obligated in tabling dishes just like the man is.
Do you have to make a
Here the tzitzis, women are not what's the difference about making a bracha? How does that get here? We're not talking about that. We're talking about tabling dishes. We're not talking about the bracha if you make a bracha when you table dishes or not. Okay, next. Okay, now, are you allowed to borrow somebody's talus without permission? It happens, you come in, huh? You're allowed to park on the spot, you're allowed to, because then the car will get towed. Because the question is like this, can somebody borrow somebody's tzitzis without permission? A talus, or tzitzis, same thing. So the Gemara said the rule is you're allowed to. Why? Because the Gemara has a chazak that a person is happy when mitzvahs are done with their possessions, where there is no loss of money. For instance, I'll give you an example. In Shulchan Aruch it says, even though people are more makel in it today, but in Shulchan Aruch it says you can't borrow somebody's sefer without permission. Why? Because when you use it, you ruin it. You don't maybe rip it apart, but you're ruining it. But talus is not a problem. The only difference is, which is a very important halacha for people to know, that's only if you put it back where you found it and you folded it the way it was folded. But let's say you take somebody's talus and shul from over there, that corner, and then you put it back in that corner, that the guy has to go looking for it, and then he's upset that the guy used it, so then you have a problem that you stole it, and therefore you didn't do the mitzvah and you made a bracha in vain. So you're allowed to borrow somebody's talus or tefillin without permission, but it needs to be done in a way that the person won't be particular about it. Huh? Tefillin also. As long as you put him back. Because again, putting on tefillin is not ruining the tefillin, so it's not actually something that person would care about. Ideally, and this is the story like this. People wear cotton tzitzis, people wear woolen tzitzis. Why is there an advantage of wearing woolen tzitzis over cotton tzitzis? Because according to all opinions, a woolen garment is obligated in tzitzis. A wool garment and a linen garment are obligated in tzitzis. Other garments, which biblically are not considered halachic garments, so according to many opinions, you're only fulfilling the mitzvah rabbinically. That means, according to many opinions, if somebody wears a cotton talus cotton, the small talus they wear, the tzitzis, they wear as cotton. So according to many opinions, you're only doing the mitzvah rabbinically. If you wear a woolen talus cotton, then according to all opinions, you're doing it biblically. Huh?
tzitzit is the more important, not the...
Yeah, but the question, what garment is obligated in the tzitzis? So biblically, wool garment and a linen garment is obligated in tzitzis. If you have a cotton garment, according to most opinions, you're not obligated biblically in the mitzvah. So you're only doing a rabbinic mitzvah, versus if you wear a woolen one, it would be a biblical mitzvah.
So is concise a problem with Shabbos?
So now the question is like this. Shabbos is getting late. Shabbos, why are you allowed to wear tzitzis? Why aren't the strings called carrying on the strings? Just because, I'll give you an example. You can't have a keychain, hook it onto your pants, and wear, talking about no Erev, right? Just carrying, Shabbos. You can't have a keychain tucked, hooked onto your belt and the keys dangle down. That's called carrying on Shabbos. Why are tzitzis not considered carrying the strings on Shabbos? So halacha is because they're kosher tzitzis, they're bottled to the garment. They become inferior to the garment. They become part of the garment. But technically, let's say for whatever reason it is, somebody is wearing non-kosher tzitzis. Let's say the strings are just messed up, ripped, or not the proper amount, whatever it is. Then the problem is you're carrying on Shabbos. Because now the tzitzis are not kosher, so they're not inferior and bottled to the garment. So therefore, when you wear this garment on Shabbos, you're actually carrying the tzitzis, which would be a desecration of Shabbos. So therefore, some people on Shabbos, they would only wear wool tzitzis, and but the poskim write that they're more lenient about it, and they wear even the cotton talis on Shabbos and so on and so forth. Okay.